indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good afternoon. All right, do not have any persons wishing to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items. We'll move to item 5, approval of minutes of meeting on March 1st, 2023. Can I get a motion in a second, please?
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. Can I get a motion in a second to approve the agenda, please?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. No conflicts of interest for us to review this month. So moving on to the approval of the consent agenda. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. And now we're on to reports of the president. First up is our early child academic update report.
Good afternoon, Madam President and the board. Thank you for having me come visit about early childhood. As you'll notice up on the screen, my name is Loretta Lelux. I have actually been an instructor out at Southeast Tech since the beginning of the program as an adjunct, and then full-time for 7 years. So my passion has always been early childhood, so I'm excited to share with you some of the wonderful things we've been doing out there on campus. So I do have 2 additional professors that help me out, Susie Jones and Melissa Atkins. That's a picture there of one of our students that's currently doing a math activity with one of our little preschoolers over at the Scarborough Center. And you'll see a variety of pictures of students actually engaging with the children, which is why we are an amazing technical school, because we get to have hands-on from day one. So as you can read, there's the mission statement of the early childhood program. Moving on then with the core outcomes for our program. Again, we're really focused in on child development. That's going to be our main focus. How do children grow and develop, and getting the students educated on those concepts, as well as what are professional skills that are needed in the profession. So how do you work with children? How do you ensure that you're doing classroom management? And again, we're working with students to teach them about birth through age 8. Again, as an associate's degree, if they want to go on for their 4-year degree to be an elementary school teacher, we can provide that foundation for them. So you can see those 4 areas under program outcomes. Sorry, that lighting's a little bit off there, but one of the things that I wanted to highlight is, again, those technical skills that are expected of individuals once they graduate with their associate's degree in early childhood. You're going to see child development, classroom management, professional skills, standards within the industry, standards within what the state would require for licensing, and then just enforcing health and safety practices, which are going to be key and most important. So moving on, then I would like to highlight some of the accomplishments and the exciting news that we've had. We were able to obtain some dollars from the Department of Social Services, Office of Child Care Services, to support 20 full ride scholarships. So that is amazing. We've had 8 students that are currently enrolled, and then we will award 12 more for the fall of 2023. Their only commitment then is to give 2 years of service back to the state of South Dakota, which I think is minimal, and students are super excited about having the opportunity to not only have a free ride scholarship, but also to be working in the field. The second highlight that we're pretty proud of, we've been working for a long time to try to get our credits articulated to SDSU in their early childhood program. So we were able to sign a contract for 20 of our early childhood credits to move forward into SDSU with a total of 31 within the whole college. So again, for those individuals that are interested in moving forward, we have another avenue for them. And then lots of pictures there to highlight student organization, our early childhood student organization. We've done a variety of things since the beginning of our program. Again, we really find meeting some of those community needs with families and children really important for our students to be networking in the field. So we've done lots of donations to child organizations, I guess. And then also that last one, if you're not familiar, law enforcement, firefighters will take stuffed animals out with them if there's a child that needs to be pulled out of the home or maybe has lost some things. So we were able to contribute some of those stuffed animals for them. So I think that's a pretty unique, fun volunteer opportunity as well. And then a couple other accomplishments. We're part of the Sioux Falls WOW. If you've not heard that, that's been going on for, I think, 15, maybe 18 years. And it happens every January and February at the Washington Pavilion. And there's over 500 early childhood educators that come throughout the state. And there's a professional keynote speaker that comes and educates us on some concept, and our students are highly involved in that. They not only volunteer, we're a sponsor, so they can be part of that, networking with other professionals. And then in the last couple of years, I've asked the students to do a poster session. So that adds a little bit more of a layer to getting participants to learn about what we're doing. Partnerships. Boy, I have to tell you, there's a lot of partners we have out there, especially in early childhood. Without their support, we couldn't have the students learning about children, and I have never been turned down. Centers, family, child care, social services, they want our students in, not only for recruitment purposes, but also just to be able to build their skills. Scarborough Center on campus is, of course, our #1 lab site. And then just to highlight there that one of our students did get a student award through the South Dakota Association for the Education of Young Children, which was a big honor for Ms. Kaylee. And then the last slide that I have for you this afternoon is data. So again, we continue to grow our program. I just ran some statistics before the meeting. I think we're at 26 students that are currently looking at coming in the fall. I'm sure that has to do with the scholarship opportunities. So that's wonderful, and we hope that we can continue to build some sort of support for our students that are interested. Any questions that you guys might have?
With the retention rate, is that because they're getting jobs? There's so many in need that they're not staying.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have high placement rates, as you can see there. There's a great need in our community. I'm sure you've seen that and heard that for probably the last couple of years, and that continues to be something that we're constantly collaborating with the Sioux Falls Collaboration. We're part of those conversations that we're having to try to, again, increase our workforce, but also the quality of individuals that enter the workforce is going to be key.
I think what you guys do, I mean, I think a lot of adults need to go back to preschool and kindergarten and learn how to wait in line and, you know, follow the rules and not blurt out and so forth. So what you guys
appropriately.
Exactly, behavior appropriately. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate that support because it's really important for our field to be recognized.
I would just add, like you said, there's such a high need in the community, and not just for somebody who just wants to go work in a daycare, but somebody who truly has the knowledge. Mm-hmm. And as a parent, you know, I think it's so important to try to understand those developmental milestones and those developmental just behaviors, because we've all been out in public and you can see children who you may call it misbehaving, but they're probably behaving at their developmental level. Right. And it's the reaction of the adult that's with them that's maybe causing the issue to blow up. And so as parents and as adults in the community, and especially as child care providers, it's so important for them to have that understanding of what are they developmentally ready for and how can I respond to that in a healthy way. And so these students aren't just going to go work in a daycare or whatever it is and be just another person, but they're going to have the skills and the knowledge to be able to guide those maybe parents by example, or for sure the students, and give them positive responses to whatever that behavior might be. So such an important role in our community, and these are a lot of our future students in our kindergarten classes and all the way up. And so having the ability to have students with these skills is so important to all of us.
Yeah, I agree totally.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, no other questions. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the early childhood academic report?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. On to the FY24 budget guidelines, timelines, and outlook.
President Sarabitz and members of the board, Rich Clune, Vice President, Finance and Operations. What you have before you is probably a repeat of what you saw last year in terms of the executive summary related to our budget adoption, updated the dates in there. And if you notice, it's a pretty accelerated timeline. We want to try to stay on task and get that tentative adoption before you in May. We may have a little more modification as we go to that final adoption, but just kind of a couple general comments and overviews. We came off a pretty positive legislative session in terms of funding, so that's one aspect that's going to blend into this budget. The second one is the completion and implementation of the strategic plan, which includes many tactical goals and objectives. Our enrollment trend is looking better than it has in the past. So the point I'm making all of this is that it looks like there's going to be some funding mechanisms, which I would probably say in the last 10 years, we have been challenged to really tie specific dollars to specific strategic objectives. So the combination of the legislative package, some increased enrollments, that updated a new strategic plan, I think you'll see a closer tie of connectivity to that. So rather than what we've done in the past is kind of a blend of an incremental zero-based budgeting approach, you're going to start to see something that's going to blend in those strategic objectives, which will still have, here's our baseline operations, but we'll start to blend in those components of it. So again, it's the goal is to get this before you at our May meeting with the tentative adoption. So we will be working pretty hard over the next several weeks and probably greater focus after our HLC visit to this. We'll start finalizing revenue estimates and should be able to get something together for you guys pretty good. It shouldn't modify much from the final, but there's always changes. So I would stand by for any questions or clarifications. But again, this is very similar to what we've presented in the past.
Thank you. Any questions for Rich?
I move that we adopt the budget guidelines, timeline, and process for the F124 budget.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes.
Thank you.
We will look forward to your report, in-depth report in May. All right, moving on to the second reading of STC policies, AC, CHD, and ECAE. These were already out for a first reading, so this is just a second reading of the policies. Any comments, questions on those?
Did you guys receive any comments?
Okay. All right, so no comments were received. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the second reading of said policies?
So moved. Second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That passes. All right, thank you. After we adjourn, we are moving into a work session. So I just remind people of that. But if I can get a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. That passes. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Anybody need a break? No?